I am Dr. Adekunle Ibrahim Oladejo. I was principal of Monument Future College in Ogun State. Regarding the attributes of a successful principal, I'd like to share 7 attributes based on the question put before me. And in no particular order, I'll itemize these 7 and then discuss them as briefly as possible. The first attribute that I'd like to mention is commitment to quality teaching and learning. As any successful principal needs to be committed to quality teaching and learning. When I was principal, I will ensure that my teachers don't just teach any topic in their classes. These topics must be well taught, most times far beyond the curriculum requirements. When principals are not committed to quality teaching, wishy-washy happens in the class. And for a successful principal, this must be looked into. But to ensure that this happens, it doesn't only lie with what the teacher knows. During my time, every 2 weeks in my school, we will take teacher development meeting, where teachers will come together, they will express their difficulties and challenges in class, and then we'll see how to help ourselves out. Beyond that, we'll take regular seminars for teachers on sometimes based on content, sometimes based on the methods of teaching. All of these were mechanisms with which I put in place to help teachers to get better in their quality of service. Quality of learning also matters. What happens in the class, the end result of every teaching activity is what the student learns. So we want to be sure as a principal that the students are learning and learning well. So beyond the state assessments, beyond the regular tests and examinations, you want to be sure that your students can match up with other students in any other school in any part of the world. So commitment to quality teaching and learning is an attribute that a successful teacher must own. Number 2 is good organizational and communication skills. A successful principal must be able to demonstrate that he or she can, has this organizational skill, which includes time management, planning skills, because there will be several activities that you engage in the school. And as principal, you need to show that you're able to provide leadership in time management, in planning, and of course, in all that makes you the leader of the pack. Communication skills. For example, usually as principals, we'll do after assembly gathering with our teachers. We'll talk in the morning, pass instructions. What you're saying to teachers, is it clear? Do they understand? So effective communication becomes an attribute that a successful principal must own. The next, the number 3 here is creative thinking. Oh, as your school exists, so does other schools, or so do other schools. The same curriculum, you are turning out students to the same examination body, be it WAEC, be it NECO. So how do you make a difference? It lies in the creative thinking of the principal. How do you ensure that, the same mathematics or the same algebra that is being taught in mathematics in your own school is taught elsewhere? How do you want to be sure that the way it is taught in your school is different? So it lies in the creative thinking of the principal. Number 4 is adaptability and problem solving. Hey, it looks like every day when you come to school, there is one new problem to solve. As the principal, for you to be successful, your adaptability and problem-solving skill must be sharpened almost on a daily basis, because the problems that you faced yesterday is not the same that you will face today. So when you come to school, you want to be sure that, when this problem comes today, how do we tackle it without losing ourselves into the problem? That teacher that is your best teacher can just wake up tomorrow and say he's leaving the school, and you get a new teacher. How do you adapt to that? New policies will come, new regulations from government. So flexibility and adaptability becomes an attribute that the principal must own. Next on this is number 5, which is accountability and reflective thinking. How do you hold yourself accountable as a leader? You're done with the day. Monday, today is Monday. We're done with activities of the school. You are back home. As principal, you're not just going straight to sleep. You want to ask yourself, oh, the issue that happened between teacher Demola and teacher Akindumbi, how did I interfere? Was my interference, was it fair? Did I do well? Did I not do well? The complaint that was brought by Madam Shiamara, how did I attend to it? So the reflective thinking comes in. Where you did well, you take the praise. Where you feel that you didn't do well, find a problem. You also want to get better the next time. So as a principal, you must hold yourself accountable for every success and for somehow the failure or the mismanagement that happens in a day. And you want to see how to get better the following day. So accountability and effective thinking becomes very important or an important attribute of a principal. Next to this, and which is very important, is empathy and emotional intelligence. You know that teacher that is always very cheerful, Mrs. Shola, Madam Koinde, or Mr. Ibrahim, for example, always cheerful every day. But today comes Mr. Ibrahim. The face is not as bright as it used to be. As a leader, as a principal, you don't just want to look away. Oh, you want to call Mr. Ibrahim. What happened? Any challenge with the family? Any problem from home? Is it about work? Your colleagues, your students? You want to ask. So the teacher feels, cared for. And all of these has an overall or ripple effect on the outputs of the teacher. So your emotional intelligence, your empathy as a leader, as a school principal, if you want to be successful, becomes very important because these teachers, they're human and they're equally very sensitive. They know when the principal cares for them and they want to do their best to ensure that, oh, your tenure or your reign records the best of success. So that's number 6. And the second one that I'd like to share is good community relationship. The school exists in a particular environment. Oh, that day is going to come where you need the community help. I'll give you an example. You wake up in the morning, the driver has gone to pick the children. The bus will just break up. No extra bus to go and pick to assist the driver. The community is always there to provide support. Or if you are living in an environment where the roads are not all tied, like it happened in my own case, your vehicle just got trapped somewhere. You need community support. If you are not that type of principal that has been, carrying along the community or forming good relationship with the community, it may be difficult to get help when such need arises. These are the 7 attributes that I like to share as attributes of successful principal. For the sake of emphasis, I just like to run through them again. 1 is commitment to quality teaching and learning. Number 2 is organizational and communication skills. Number 3 is creative thinking. Number 4 is adaptability and problem-solving skills. Number 5, accountability and reflective thinking. Number 6 is empathy and emotional intelligence. And number 7 is good community relationship. Now I'd like to move to the challenges that I faced during my tenure, and I will just pick two of them from students to parents to teachers and of course the proprietor, and how I was able to manage these challenges. On the part of the students, among others, I want to pick these 2: undue freedom and lack of respect for hierarchy or school authority. Some students, right from home, they enjoy that freedom. And when they come to school, they want to display that undue freedom. A student of JS1 wants to talk to an SS3 students the way they like. No, it doesn't work. In school environments, where it's assumed that we are modeling students, it doesn't work that way. Students don't enjoy undue freedom. So one way, I haven't battled with this for about 2 years. Then we then resolved to have a code of conduct within the school. So we had a code of conduct for the school. When any student is coming in, any student, you're going to have that code of conduct, a very small pamphlet like this, about 15 pages. It tells what the regulations of the schools are and the rules, and that every student is expected to abide by. The parent will sign, the students will sign, and will keep a copy in the student's file. That was one way we were able to tackle undue freedom. Lack of respect for hierarchy and authorities. Okay. We have student council, which we call the student representative. You have the head boy, the head girl, the timekeeper, and all the rest. Usually they are selected from among their peers. And because they're in the same class, no. The moment that title is bestowed on that person, it becomes an authority, and you must respect that person when operating or when discharging the responsibilities of that office. So when we have new sets of students for leadership, we celebrate them. Not only that, in fact, in my cafeteria again, we have a section where the Student Representative Council have their meals, different from the general section, so that students will have respect for that office. So that when say the head boy should give instruction, the students must follow, even if they are in the same class. There are two major challenges that I can recall about students when I was principal and how I was able to tackle. The second is about from the teacher. From the teacher, I want to pick two things. One is poor pedagogical content knowledge, and second is commitment to teaching service. I take the first one. Yes, the teacher is a chemistry teacher, knows chemistry very well, can teach chemistry or knows chemistry. But how do you teach chemistry to the students in a way that they didn't just want to learn, but they also want to love chemistry? To solve this, you recall earlier I talked about our professional development meetings every 2 weeks. That was one way by which I was able to ensure that teachers don't just go to class. And in my own school, during my time, every Friday, the teachers submit their lesson notes, and then we have that meeting, usually on Fridays, to go through what the teachers will teach you, put some of teachers, what they will teach before they go to class on Monday, and we'll breathe into it, and then everybody contributes, and the child gets a better idea of how to deal with that lesson. Second is commitment to teaching service. A number of teachers see teaching service or see teaching as, well, just to make and hence meet, but it doesn't end there. The lives of these children are kept in our care. So we must show commitment to quality teaching. So to do this, one of the ways I was able to tackle this challenge, like I said earlier, is showing concern for the teachers. In fact, at some point, I know some teachers who, for one reason or the other, their family needs is a little above their income. And usually at about 18th or 20th of every month, they want to come, Oga or sir, I have some challenge, I have this, I have that. Sometimes when it's beyond my pocket, I want to walk to the proprietor. Sir, Mr. Shola has been good, has been fair, has been this. How do we assist? Sometimes I just have that small pause that I've created. If it's not too much, I go into that pause and support that teacher. Two things happen there. One, the teacher is happy that at least that problem is solved to an extent. Number two, the teacher wants to show commitment the following day, wants to do better, because we don't want the principal to not say, you're not doing well in your class. These are the benefits that come or accrue from tackling that challenge. Parents, this interest in results over process. I'm not sure it's only in my school. I'm sure it's a general thing about parents. They just want their students, particularly when a child is 7 years old and you want the child to be in JS1. You don't care whether the child needs to follow primary 1, primary 2, primary 3 to primary 6. No, just because your neighbor's child is 8 years old, you were born at the same time, and it's not in JS1. So your child too must be in JS1. And sometimes, or most times, it doesn't work that way. These students are different, or our children experience, they're different. And the way they grow, the way they move also differ. So as a principal, how did I manage this? When we come to parent-teachers forum, we call it parent-teachers forum in my school, during my tenure, when we come to teachers parents forum, all of these are major items that we'll review during the meeting. Tell parents that no, your child is not losing anything because the child has to go through the due process. You will see the effect in the future. Don't worry about that child who is able to move very fast. They are different and they're not competing. Everybody's running their own race and within their own time. Next is lack of respect for school authority. Some parents can be very notorious. I have had a situation where a parent had to arrest one of my teachers just because the teacher patted her son at the back for not putting on the tie properly. So some parents can be like that. So when you have such parents as principal, you must learn, you must just find a way to manage that parent. And among 200 parents, 300 parents, there is no way you will not have 5, 10 of them. And usually, they are always very, for schools that pay school fees, such parents are always good payers, they pay regularly. You don't want to lose them as customer. So you must find a way to manage that challenge. Next is that of the proprietor. And the proprietor and the parent share one similar challenge, which is number one, the interest in results over process. I recall some scenarios between myself and my proprietor at that time. I just like, Kunle, no, I want you to get this done, and that's what I want, period. So it becomes a problem. How do I solve this? This thing can't happen magically. We have to go through this and that. Sometimes during management meeting and your boss has said that, just allow it to go for now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But after the meeting, you want to find a time to go back to Python. Oh, okay, this thing cannot work that way. We need to do this. We need to do that in a way that is subtle. I remember before I became principal, one of the principals that I worked with in the same school, we had a management meeting and the proprietor said something about leadership style. And the principal said, "Oh, sir, that is your own leadership style." Oh, it doesn't work that way. That's our boss. We need to find a way to manage them. That singular statement became an issue between the two of them, and then over time it was resolved. But having learned from that, you don't have to talk to your boss or to your superiors in that way. Sometimes it could even be referred to as insubordination. Next one, that challenge that I faced with my proprietor is dancing to parents' requests. Oh, I think particularly in private sectors, most proprietors have that. They want to dance to the request of the parents. And you are here as a middleman. You want to satisfy the proprietor. You also want to ensure that the parents get the quality for the school fees that they are paying. So that's a challenge. And one of the ways with which I dealt with that was ensuring that at times like that, if we have this challenge, where's the parents? Can we treat this issue not as generic? Let's treat it based on that parent's need, so that we don't put this as what we do in the school, but other parents will want to follow suit. These are my contributions to the questions that you have put forward. Thank you very much, sir.